But interestingly, Sophia, he's got 3 poles this season at 6 races. He has half the pole positions, despite, I think everybody will agree, especially himself, doesn't have the fastest car by some distance. But over 1 lap, that Red Bull is absolutely electric. And Imola, like we say, is a very hard track to overtake around. So could Max get a surprise win here?
I could see it. I mean, the thing is, as well, Max, how he's situated his car is so different looking at like Yuki Tsunoda and Liam Lawson comparing the Red Bull, the second Red Bull car as well. But that also shows his driving style. As you mentioned, he's won each race since 2021, minus obviously the 2023 cancellation. This is one of his better tracks. I mean, let's be honest, most of his tracks are good, given the fact that he's won so many different circuits. But I think it will be good to see and interesting to see. I don't think he might get pole. I think he'll be close to it, but it also depends. He has always a better start off the line compared to say Lando, compared to Oscar as well. If you look at on Sunday races when they do the little metrics about how fast they go in the 0 to 60, he is consistently one of the faster over the other two drivers. So I think that will be quite an interesting one to see. But we've seen even Max battle in Imola take Lewis 2021. There is opportunities to overtake, but I don't think Max will get pulled, but I think he will be in contention for the win because of how good he is off the line and how he does do some interesting overtakes as well at corners that aren't really known for overtaking, even in Imola. Again, not many places for the opportunities, but for some reason he's able to put his car in different ways than other drivers probably would not even think about doing.
Yeah, for sure. And as we saw in Miami, people criticized him for the way he was defending against the McLarens, but people seem to forget that it looked like we might have got rain at that point. And if we got rain, then it's a completely different race. You've got two McLarens that have to double stack at that point. It becomes awkward. And again, Max Verstappen's rather good in the wet weather as well. So there is that. But I think the bigger question is, Louis, when it comes to if Verstappen, I mean, it's a big if his Formula One spelled backwards, as the great Murray Walker used to say. But if Verstappen is either up there or ahead of the McLarens at the start of the race, McLaren, you would think, would have both of their drivers second and third. A similar situation to what we saw in Japan. Do you think they're going to learn from the mistakes in Japan, though? Because they just seem to not want to take any risk whatsoever at Suzuka, as you very passionately put at the time. Do you think they're going to learn from that mistake for Imola if that was to happen?
The hope would be that they would. I mean, I said in our Miami preview that Max just seems to have a thing with this car with the tracks with a lot of high speed corners. Imola's not as many high speed corners, but still a fairly decent amount. And it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be tougher than most tracks to probably keep these McLarens behind here. I mean, the rundown between like the final corner to the second corner is so long. I think it would be harder than it would be in, let's say, Japan to keep those two McLarens, but like to keep those two McLarens behind, like he did there. But this is McLaren. McLaren seem to have a nice pattern of if they're not in first place at the end of the first lap, they'll kind of drop back a couple of seconds, sit there for a while, and then just kind of think about something to do for a while, and ultimately have not enough time to do it. So, and this is not just Japan; it has been multiple races in which we've thought about, especially last season, where we thought, "Ooh, maybe McLaren should be winning this." But the hope is that McLaren have learned from their mistakes. They need to understand that Max isn't going to make mistakes. Max is incredibly consistent. Max is incredibly good. And they need to be a little bit more aggressive. If they have both Lando and Oscar behind, regardless of which order they're in, they need to play a team game, really think about how they can kind of attack Max from both angles and not just sit there and give him the easiest time of his life as they did in Japan.
By Max Verstappen's standards, anyway, the easiest time of his life. I'd never describe being thrown around by a Formula One car at that speed as an easy time, but I guess maybe for him it probably is.